What's happening, people? It's your boy, Brother Winston, with another video. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe to this channel, follow the page, like the content, share all of that stuff. Helps a lot. Thank you guys for doing that, for those of you who have. Today we're talking about Godzilla, okay, like the fictional character Godzilla. I want to present to you guys something that I believe that this character, Godzilla, that people think is just a fictional character, is actually a real character, okay? He's a real character that one day may be on this earth again in these last days. Okay, all jokes aside, I'm not saying this to be sensational. I'm not saying this to get clicks. Okay, of course, on my videos to get clicks. Okay, I don't want to not get clicks, but this video is actually, I think, very important. Okay, when you understand this, because it goes into a lot of things that people just don't understand about our past and the past of this world. Okay, now I never thought Godzilla to be real at all. It's just a fictional character, but I will say this. In the Bible, and some of you guys may know where I'm about to go, okay, in the Bible, there's a beast described, all right, that cannot be anything but a Godzilla-like figure if you actually look at what the Bible says, which I'm going to explain to you guys. It cannot be a crocodile. It cannot be anything but a creature that is like a Godzilla, for sure, okay? And of course, we have things like, as you can see behind me, let me move my camera here. As you can see behind me, we have found all type of different skeletons, you know, of these creatures, which I think are probably these Godzilla creatures, okay? And they're saying these are dinosaurs and this and that, but I think in actuality they are creatures like this, okay? Maybe smaller versions of them, okay? Let me turn this music down. We're gonna play a clip here really quickly. I'll be right back with the word, okay? So let me turn the music down if it's still playing. I'm gonna move on right here to this video. All right. Now look at this creature here. Y'all want to play this first. Just a fire-breathing, walking piece of destruction, okay? Now look at that monster, right? You may say, yeah, that's movie magic, brother. That's just a bunch of cinematography. That's just a bunch of, you know, movie tricks, which it is. It's CG, okay? But I also want to say this. I gotta say this, y'all. Now, you know, Godzilla is a franchise that has been around for many years, okay? Been around for many years, and it has been very successful. I was just telling my dad the other day, as I was telling about this, I was saying sometimes movies strike a chord in people because they aren't as fictional as people think that they are. Seriously, certain times, certain stories or shows you may watch, you may think, oh wow, this is such great writing. You don't understand, it's not great writing. They're telling you a true story, but they're telling you it's a fictional story. Okay, and something in you connects. It's what they call strikes a chord in you. Okay, it strikes a chord. Now, what is a chord? A chord. I'm not a great musician like that, but I do know a little bit about music. I can play the keyboard a little bit. Okay, I do. I used to do that a lot in church. Okay, but I will say this: that I know that a chord what a chord is a bunch of notes. Okay, that are in a group that sound pleasing to the ear, okay? And my father, who's a real musician, will probably say it much better. But essentially, they're notes that go together, okay? When they're played together, they sound very harmonious, all right? In this world, when you put certain things together, certain events together, certain facts together, okay? Certain information together, it can strike a chord in people, not because it's just good writing, but actually because it's actually true. It's actually real, and people think that it's fake. It's not. They say, "Oh, this is just so good," but they don't understand what they're really looking at. Okay. Now let's get here in the word. We're gonna move on to the word here. Let's turn the music down just a little bit. Let's get here in the word, y'all. Now, in the book of Job, okay, in the book of Job, God describes a beast. He actually describes two beasts. All right. A lot of people, I think, they get confused, think that he's describing one beast, but he's actually describing two different beasts. One beast could possibly be an alligator or something like that. It could be a beast that's around today, okay, crocodile. But the second beast cannot be a beast that's on this earth right now if you look at how he describes it. Now, if you know the story of Job, God speaking to Job after Job has suffered, okay, losing his children and, a lot of different things, God blessed Job after all the things that happened to him, okay, after he went through this harsh test, all right, for the good of many people even to this very day. But God was speaking to Job, explaining basically who God was. God didn't say, "I need to defend myself." God said, have you made the world? Do you understand these things? And he started to explain to him different things. And what he started to do was he started to explain to Job about different animals and how God made certain animals similar to us and the intelligence and the wisdom that it took just to make certain type of creatures, okay, that only God could do. He starts to speak about one creature here called the behemoth. We see here in Job, it says 40, verse 15. He says, "Look at behemoth, which I made along with you." I believe the verses say as well as you, okay? I believe basically saying as complex as you, okay? He says, "In which feeds on grass like an ox." Now, this creature right here, the first creature, this creature number one, this creature is not the Godzilla-like creature, okay? How can we tell? Look what it says here. It says, "Look at behemoth, which I made along with you, and which feeds on grass like an ox," okay? So right there, this creature is more close to the ground. He feeds on grass like an ox, okay? What strength it has in his loins, what power in the muscles of his belly. Its tail sways like a cedar, okay? The sinews of his thighs are close knit. Its bones are tubes of bronze. Its limbs like rods of iron, okay? So he says it's like rods of iron. He's saying this creature is like these certain things, okay? This is important because he describes the second creature. He's gonna say this is what this creature is. It's not like he's just talking about something small and trying to say something big. The second creature that he describes, he's telling you matter of factly, this is what he's about, okay? Verse 19, "It ranks first among the works of God. Yes, its maker can approach it with his sword. The hills bring it their strength, and all the wild animals play nearby," okay? "Under the lotus plant it lies." Okay, now this is very important. It says, "Under the lotus plants it lies." That's letting us know this is more of a crocodile type creature because it can lay under lotus plants, okay? It's a smaller creature, all right? Very, very clear, straight to the point, God says, as God explains this. "Hidden among the reeds in the marsh," okay? Tell me where it's at. "The lotuses concealed it in their shadow." So once again, it has to be smaller. "The poplars by the stream surround it," okay? "A raging river does not alarm it. It is secure through the Jordan surge," the Jordan River, okay? "Jordan should surge against its mouth. Can anyone capture it by the eyes or trap it and pierce its nose?" Let's talk about like a crocodile type creature, okay? But let's move on to the next one, all right? Then he says, "Can you pull in Leviathan with a fish hook?" Now you may say to yourself, talking about the same thing. But he's actually not talking about the same thing. He uses a different name, Leviathan, where before he used behemoth. Somebody may say, well, it's just another name for the same creature. But I would say it's not the same name, okay? I mean, it's not all the same thing. It's a completely different creature, okay? Something I years back never noticed, okay? "Can you pull in Leviathan with a fish hook?" Also, understand this, if you read in Job, God speaks about different animals, okay? So it's not like this is something different. As he was in his speech, he went from creature to creature, okay? So it's showing the precedent for this, okay? "Can you pull in Leviathan with a fish hook or tie down its tongue with a rope? Can you put a cord through its nose or pierce its jaw with a hook?" All right, take the earphones off. "Will it keep begging you for mercy? Will it speak to you with gentle words? Will you make an agreement? Will it make an agreement with you for you to take it as your slave for life? Can you make a pet of it like a bird? All right, or put it on a leash for the young women in your house?" Now, some people have had these animals like crocodiles on leashes. I have seen it. So that's something that you can do for some of them, but not for something that's a large size like a dinosaur or larger. "Will traders barter for it? Will they divide it among the merchants?" Now, this is once again something that with a crocodile, alligator, this actually does happen. Even in the olden times, that will happen, okay? It says, "Will traders barter for it? Will they divide it among the merchants?" But for a creature as large as Godzilla, that wouldn't be possible. So we see that he talks about a creature that's as small that can be in the lotus plants. Then he talks about another creature, which is not the same, because we can see from as he describes it, he's saying that this creature cannot be sold. This creature You can't hang with your people. You can't have it hang with the young women. It can't be put on a leash. There's nothing you can do with this creature. Okay. Let's continue to make sure if this is the same creature or a different creature. I'm telling you it's not the same, but let's keep reading because he's going to give us things to let us know. Okay. Can you fill its hide with harpoons or its head with fishing spears? Okay. Okay. If you lay a hand on it, you will remember the struggle and never do it again. Any hope of subduing it is false. The mere sight of it is overpowering. All right. So he's saying just looking at the thing is overpowering for anybody just to look at it. All right. No one is fierce enough to arouse it. Now, we've had crocodile hunters, all kind of people. But here he's saying no one is fierce enough to arouse it. No one will even try to make this thing come up and awake. Okay. Who then is able to stand against me? So now God's comparing this big creature to God himself. All right. Who has a claim against me that I must pay? Everything under heaven belongs to me. I will not fail to speak. Now he's speaking about the creature again. I will not fail to speak of Leviathan's limbs, its strength, and its graceful form. Who can strip off its outer coat? Who can penetrate its double coat of armor? So he's talking about the body of the creature. He's talking about, the skin and how it's like armor. Who dares open the doors of its mouth? Ringed about with fearsome teeth. Okay. So it has teeth all throughout the mouth. Now, alligator does too, but look at, as we see here, this creature. Okay, look at his teeth. You say this is just fiction, brother. Once again, it's not fiction like you think it is. Let me go look, I'm trying to see where he'll hook up his mouth. Here we go. Look at that. Okay, let's go back to this. Now, ringed about with fearsome teeth. Its back has rows of shields. Okay. Now, it's true that there are similar formations on the back of like a crocodile than as the same of Godzilla. Okay. But once again, it says its back has rows of shields. We go look at this creature. What do we see? What do we see up here? And this is just one form of Godzilla. Okay. On his back, he has all these different formations. I don't know if you can see it right now. Let's see here. There we go. Now somebody will say, oh, well, that's taken from Crocodiles XYZ. But let's continue and read, okay? Because he's describing the same thing. Its back has rows of shields, all right? Tightly sealed together. Each is so close to the next that no air can pass between, okay? They are joined together. They are joined fast to one another. They cling together and cannot be parted. All right. So this probably looks slightly different than the Godzilla that in the way his back was, okay, than the Godzilla we see in movies. They are joined fast to one another. They cling together and cannot be parted. Its snorting throws out flashes of light. Okay, now somebody may say that's just he's just being loose with, or he's trying to give an analogy of how the crocodile talks and sounds. It's just trying to give a comparison. It's not really saying that. It's just, and that's what I used to think. But when you read it, you realize, no, he really is saying this. Look what he says here. He says his snorting throws out flashes of light, right? Its eyes are like the rays of dawn. Flames stream from its mouth. Sparks of fire shoot out. All right. Now I used to read this today. Okay, well, this is describing God because God did say that this creature is like him. So maybe it's just describing God, because there are parts of the Bible where it talks about the Lord being in flames and things like that. Okay. But it's not. It's not, because look what it says. In actuality, it actually makes more sense that he's talking about a Godzilla creature, because this is a similarity to God. Okay, because of the flames. All right. Flames stream from his mouth. Sparks of fire shoot out. Okay, which matches Godzilla perfectly. Smoke pours from his nostrils. Okay, so it's not one of the reasons why, for example, in the Bible and in many literature, especially old literature, but literature in general, where you will see something described from many different angles, it's to show you that to try to prove a point. Okay, he's not just giving a loose comparison to something else, because when you see God do that, he may do it once. Okay, usually once. So to say maybe, it's like this, it's like that. But here he's describing from like 4 or 5 different angles how this one feature is present. Okay, and he's talking about the fire. Smoke pours from his nostrils. Okay, so out of his, not only does he have fire in his mouth, but the smoke is coming out of his nose. Then he says, as from a boiling pot over burning reeds. Then he says his breath sets coals ablaze. So then again he says that his breath sets coals ablaze. Okay, and flames dart from his mouth. Then he keeps going. Strength resides in his neck. Dismay goes before it. Okay, the folds of his flesh are tightly joined. They are firm and immovable. Its chest is hard as rock, hard as a lower millstone. When it rises up, the mighty are terrified. So once again, this is not something that will fit a crocodile or a creature that could be under lotus plants, that when it just rises up, mighty people, the mightiest people on earth, are just terrified. Okay, because people have captured all of those creatures. But it says here, God says, when it rises up, the mighty are terrified. They retreat before its thrashing. Then it uses the terminology thrashing. Okay, some versions say crashing. So once again, why, when you think about a crocodile or something like that, right, or these different creatures, they don't really crash. They don't make a crashing noise. They're not that large. They can make a huge crashing noise when they will go across the earth. But a Godzilla creature would. Okay, a creature large as a dinosaur, bigger than a dinosaur, would make a crashing, thrashing noise. Okay, the sword that reaches it has no effect. Okay, nor does a spear or the dart or the javelin. So God's saying nothing you can do can stop him. Okay, iron, it treats like straw, and bronze like rotten wood. Arrows do not make it flee. Sling stones are like shaft to it. A club seems to it but a piece of straw. Well, of course, because it's so large that a club would seem like a piece of straw to it. Okay, it laughs at the rattling of the lance. Its undersides are jagged potsherds. Okay, so the underparts of it are like jagged potsherds, which is actually similar to this design. Okay, of this Godzilla creature, as we can see. It's like jagged pots, it's like pieces of pots broken up all over his body. Okay, his undersides are jagged potsherds, leaving a trail in the mud like a threshing sledge. Okay, it makes the depths churn like a boiling cauldron. So again, it's talking about the heat that it creates. It says that it makes water just churn like a burning cauldron. Okay, and it stirs up the sea like a pot of ointment. All right, it leaves a glistening wake before it. One would think the deep had white hair. Nothing on earth is its equal, a creature without fear. Now, why would this creature have no fear? All right, because nothing is as large or as dangerous as a Godzilla creature like this. That's why it has no fear. Okay, then it says it looks down on all that are haughty. It is king over all that are proud. So it can even, not just it looks down like I'm looking down on you, but also I believe it's saying it literally can look down. Okay, it's so large it's actually looking down upon every other creature. All right, things that are telling, once again, it talks about the creature's thrashing. God continually talks about the creature having fire blasted from his mouth. Okay, it says that when the creature is underwater, when it's in the water, that it causes the water to boil up. It says that not only does it have fire shooting from his mouth, but that it has smoke that shoots from his nose because of the power of the fire in his mouth. Okay, let me say, well, at the end of the day, brother, that's impossible for a creature like this to exist. How could a creature have fire inside of his mouth? Let me ask you this question. Have you ever heard of electric eel and all the other creatures that God created? The creatures that glow in the dark. Okay, and all the bugs that glow in the dark, all the different things that God created. Okay, to show forth his glory and his power. All right. If God can make a creature that can control electricity and a creature not be destroyed, why couldn't God create a creature that can control fire and a creature not be destroyed? Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, why is this important even for today in these last days? In my opinion, it's very important because when you think about this stuff, the Bible talks about the earth being destroyed by the things that God releases on the earth. It talks about that there are angels of armies that are released, they'll be released. And if you add up the amount of destruction in the book of Revelation, it says that basically over half of humanity will be destroyed. All right, during the times of the Great Tribulation, over half of I'm not talking about the tribulation that we're in since the times that Christ rose from the dead, in the times that the apostles were in. I'm talking about the final Great Tribulation the Bible describes about, which is different. All right, where the wrath of God is poured out on the earth. All right, and the judgments of God are poured out on the earth. This is something different. All right, and I believe that creatures like this will most definitely reappear. Okay, I don't know how, but they're creatures of great destruction, great destruction. When you think about, let me get rid of this real quick. Hold on, let me show this real fast. When you think about, let me move my camera real quick. These bones and stuff that people have found, okay, with these type of mouths and so on and so forth. These, they call them dinosaurs and so on and so forth. I believe those creatures are smaller versions of those Godzillas, all right, and they probably had the power. These creatures, I'm sure, were probably the smaller versions of them, and they had the power to shoot fire out their mouth, just like an electric eel can turn electricity on. Okay. So hopefully this video, this is probably all we're gonna talk about today, y'all, regarding this stuff. I don't need to go too deep into this. It's pretty, cut and dry, straight to the point with basically what's going on. All right. When I saw this in the Word of God, I realized what was really being said. It really shocked me, because I actually recently saw the Godzilla movie. Okay, and I'm watching it, and it was one that just came out. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a movie that just came out with, and I thought it was okay. I'll probably give it like a 6 out of 10. It wasn't the best movie in the world. I thought the one that I showed here in this clip was actually better. But when I watched that movie, something in that movie, when I was watching, something in it just, I can't put my finger out. Well, basically just struck a chord. I'll just say that. I watched and I was like, something, I just kept my finger on it. I was watching the movie. I'm like, I don't know what it is about this movie. It's something about seeing this creature. It just seemed like it was more than what it just appeared. And around that same time, I was actually reading Job. Okay. And God highlighted these things to me. And I had thought of this before. I've heard people say this stuff before, say it probably was this and that. It probably was real. And I always thought, no, it's not, y'all wrong. And, he just described it in a crazy way. But when I really looked at it, and I saw how God was describing this, and I realized these were two different creatures. I said, wow. When you put the descriptions onto this Godzilla creature, they all fit perfectly. Every single one, they all fit perfectly. And then you think about the skeletons that have been found. It all adds up. Okay. Let me say, well, if that's the case, brother, why is it that we don't see them today? I don't know. Maybe they went extinct. Maybe they died in the flood. I don't know. Maybe they died in the flood and God didn't want them to be preserved. That could be probably what happened with to them. I don't know. All right. Maybe mankind somehow, did something and killed them off. We don't know. Maybe they're actually still alive, but somewhere else in Earth where we just don't know. That's another thing. I think they may be actually just somewhere we just don't know where they are. All right. But there's a lot, that I'll say is before I go, there's a lot that we just don't understand. We just don't understand. And the Bible is giving us clues. Sometimes people don't understand. People will say, oh, you take the Bible literal? Yes, of course I take it literal. Except for when the Bible tells us they're not to be taken literal. And this may be a metaphor. Yeah, take it literal. Okay, I take it just the Bible says do this. That's what we're supposed to do. Okay, as we read it properly in its proper context. All right. And the Word of God has given wisdom and insight beyond what a lot of people would have never, thought of, even scientifically. It's brought, especially scientifically, it's brought up all kind of information and clues that help us to understand what's really going on. So yeah, guys, let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Whether against what I'm saying or for what I'm saying, and we'll have a discussion about this. But yeah, y'all, it's the last days. I believe for real, we're going to see a lot of things, especially when you think about these machines like CERN. Okay, the literal CERN logo is 666 if you actually look at it. You think about CERN, which is short for Cernunnos, which I believe is a demon, supposed to be like a demon god of the underworld. All right, I mean, think about the fact that it's the biggest literal scientific, biggest machine on Earth. CERN is, okay, it really is the biggest machine on Earth. The only machine where countries from all across the world have come together to work on. Why? Why would they all come together to work on this thing? They say, oh, it's just to try to test atoms and this and that. Really? That's really what it's about? There's a lot of stuff. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff going on and people don't understand. But y'all, we out. I thank you guys for watching. It's your boy, Bro Winston. Make sure to follow this page, subscribe, share this video if you can. It helps out a lot. 2, I'll be back probably with more information about this stuff as I get more information. Peace.